Olá galera, eu estou lendo o livro O Pequeno Príncipe em inglês, que é para melhorar minha pronúncia em inglês. Eu vou ler o capítulo 2 do livro. Eu coloquei na tela da televisão, se der para vocês acompanharem, ler. É para quem quiser acompanhar a leitura. So, I lived alone without anyone I could really talk to until 6 years ago, when my place crashed in the Sahara Desert. There was something wrong with the engine. I had no mechanic with me and no passengers, so I had to try to get a difficult repair job done all on my own. It was a matter of life or death for me. I had barely enough water to last me 80 days. So the first night I fell asleep on the sand, 1,000 miles from any inhabited place. I was much more isolated than any shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. So you can just imagine my surprise at daybreak when a funny little voice woke me up saying, "Please, draw me a tip." What? Draw me a tip. I jumped to my feet as if I'd been struck by lightning. I rubbed my eyes hard. I looked all around me, and I set eyes on a quite extraordinary little gentleman looking at me solemnly. Here is the best picture of him that I could manage afterwards. But my drawing certainly doesn't do justice to the original. This is not my fault. I was put off from my artistic career by the grown-ups when I was 6, and I never learned to draw, except for boa constrictors, seen from the outside and the outside. I stared at this apparition wide-eyed with astonishment. Don't forget I was 1,000 miles from an inhabited place, yet the little gentleman didn't seem to be either lost or dying from exhaustion, hunger, thirst, or fear. He didn't seem in the least like a lost child. In the middle of a desert, 1,000 miles from an inhabited place, when at last I managed to get a word out, I said, "But what are you doing there?" So he said it again, very gently, as if it was a very important matter. "Please, draw me a tip." Faced with such an overwhelming mystery, you daren't disobey. Ridiculous as it seemed, 1,000 miles from an inhabited place, with my life in danger. I took a pen and a piece of paper out of my pocket, but then I remembered that I had mostly studied geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. And a little crossly, I told the little gentleman that I couldn't draw. His reply was, "That doesn't matter. Draw me a tip." As I'd never drawn a chip, I would do for him one of the only 2 drawings that I could do, the one of the boa constrictors from the outside, and I was flabbergasted to hear the little gentleman reply, "No, no, I don't want some elephant inside a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is very dangerous, and an elephant very unwieldy. Where I come from, everything is very small. I need a chip, draw me a chip," so I drew one. He studied carefully, then said, "No, that one is very thick. Already. Do me another," so I did. My friend smiled at me kindly, indulgently. "Can't you see? That's not a chip. It is a worm. It has got horns." So I did my drawing again. But it was refused like the ones before it. "That one's too old. I want a chip that will live for a long time." I was running out of patience and looking forward to making a start on taking my engine apart. So I scribbled down this picture here. And I threw at him. "That's the box. The chip you want is inside." I was very surprised to see my young judge's face light up. "That's just what I wanted. Do you think this chip will need a lot of grass?" "Why?" "Because where I live everything is very small." "Surely there will be enough. I've given you a very small chip." He bent over the drawing. "Not so small, Dot. Oh, she's gone to sleep. And that's how I met the little prince." Eu vou fazer outro vídeo gravando o capítulo 3. Obrigado por assistir a este vídeo.